Welcome to the FRC Top 25 for Week 4 of Crescendo. Week 4 is the busiest season in FRC, maybe ever actually, with 38 events taking place, which is absolutely insane, which meant that we had well over 700 votes come in as well too, which is so cool to have so many of you from the community come in and talk about or submit what you felt should be teams on the top 25. Of course, we'll be covering that. We'll be going through our top 50 shoutouts, some snubs. Clips of the week is finally back on the top 25 as well, and we got some great giveaways too. So let's get ready for the FRC top 25. This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply. Support Fun's content creators when you sign up for a membership on YouTube Join. You'll get access to special perks like emotes, loyalty badges, and Fun members will even get early access to our scheduled videos and more. 100% of this revenue will go back to our correspondents to help recognize their efforts. Click the join button in any YouTube video to pledge your support. Welcome to the FRC Top 25 for Week 4 Crescendo for Fun FRC. I'm Tyler Olds.
I'm Ari McMahon.
I'm Christina Tia.
And I'm Ryan Swanson. So Christine, congrats on 125's big win. Currently ranked #1 in the New England district. Tell us a little bit about your week.
Yeah, it was a crazy weekend. What's left over of my voice is kind of proof of it being a great weekend. The Neutrons did their usual double whammy of hosting an event, running an event, and trying to make sure that we compete with a robot that's actually not broken and, working in tip-top shape. And it was a blast this weekend. It was such a great showcase of the students really stepping up and making it happen. We were also like running concessions, which for us with not many parent helpers, like is a really big feat to be able to have so many people like getting stuff done. We had a lot of great teams down. We had Tyler visiting us, which was really cool. My students definitely fangirled over him being there and viciously prepped all week, which I thought was really wonderful. But yeah, it was really great. We had so many great teams there. It was a blast competing with so many of them. We had a lot of great teams that typically don't make their way up to Boston. Apple Pie, it was really cool to see them all the way up from Connecticut, and just a great crew of people. So thanks to everybody that volunteered and made it happen, and thanks to everybody that watched and cheered us on. And we also had Revere police dog Charlie come by. He was really sweet. So all in all, good weekend.
Always about the animal facts. Yeah, speaking of teams from Connecticut, we also competed this weekend, Mojo 8085. We competed at the other New England event, which is Western New England. Also a super, super competitive event. We had some absolutely crazy teams come that don't usually come to Western New England. So it was really cool seeing them all compete under one roof and hopefully give us a little bit of a preview of district champs. We had a great time at Western New England. Definitely prepared us for kind of the next level of competition, and we are ready to go, ready to prepare for kind of that next level. So excited for district champs. How are you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, so for me, we're just gearing up for next week. We've got a week 6 event, St. Cloud Granite City Regional. I think it'll be the most competitive regional in Minnesota history. So we're trying to get our autos dialed in and doing all that. I also paid attention to the Iowa Regional, helped a couple of teams with remote scouting there, and followed my alumni team 4607 taking the win there. And yeah, I know it was a good week for me. Can't say it was very relaxing, but we made it through.
So I had the opportunity, obviously, as Christina mentioned, to go to both New England events. So I got to see Ari and Christine, which was awesome this weekend out in Boston and Western New England. So I was very happy we didn't get like 10 inches of snow. I was trying to drive between the two events.
We only got 2. It was fine.
So it was very possible on there. But no, got to meet a lot of fantastic teams and people as always. Some great interviews that have already come out, and we got a lot more to come out as well too. So make sure you do check out those behind the bumpers. And we have tons from other correspondents this week with 38 events going on. this will be the most amount of behind the bumpers we have ever released, for better or worse, in a week. So we got a lot coming out from correspondents all over the globe as well too. So very excited for that. I do want to mention just a couple quick things, by the way, with the first API issues going on. And a lot of times there's been a kind of lack of videos and stuff like that. When you look at this week, there are going to just be teams that are straight up left off this list that probably more than usual should be somewhere on the top 25. For something like this, one, you had more teams competing than ever before, right? Which just means that there's just going to be teams that aren't, when you have a week like this versus maybe next week when you have 17 events going on, well, that's going to seem a little bit different. So, keep that stuff in mind as you're going through on this. I mean, all the teams at the top 25 are awesome, the top 50s and stuff like that as well too, but there are a lot of snubs, and it was very hard for all of us just to choose even one snub to highlight this week because there were so many teams as well. So just things to keep in mind, with week 4 and 38 events and 700 votes, and quite frankly, it being very difficult to watch most other regions events if you weren't watching live. It was so tough for our recap correspondents that try to actually analyze events they weren't directly at or didn't get a chance to watch directly. So just things to keep in mind for that. A couple other things too. Statbotics is back. So their stats are up and going, at least as far as we know. They look good on there. So we will have those stats back up. So just a reminder, kind of what those stats look like. You'll see some of those on screen with EPA, auto EPA, tele EPA, and gaming EPA, was expected points average. I always forget what it means, or what the acronym is, but I think I got it right. So you're going to see some of the stats on screen with the lower third once we bring up the teams in the top 25. So make sure that you vote every single week at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC top 25. Voting will open on Sundays by 5 p.m. Eastern and close Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern, or right whenever I hit the button that closes the form on there as well too. So lots to go on with that as well. So anything else before we jump in the top 25? Anything I might be missing or want to talk about or anything like that?
It's expected points added.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I don't know why I always screw that up every single time. It's one of those, once you get it ingrained in your head, you just can't get it out, sort of thing. So, all right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and hop in. Let's get ready for week 4, the FRC top 25, and Ari's going to kick us off in the 25th spot.
Starting us off at 25, out of Windham, New Hampshire, it's the Windham Windup. With a record of 37, 11, and 0, they were the winners of the Week 0 event, the North Shore event, and this weekend at the Greater Boston District event. Windham has a fast cycling robot and many autonomous modes, specializing in the speaker and the amp, making them a perfect first pick at their events. They have excellent tracking and can shoot on the move. Their alliance at Greater Boston would go through playoffs with an average score of 120 points, with most of those unpenalized. We've talked about Windham in a few different spots here, but there's certainly points to make a deep run at district championships in 2 weeks. Congrats on an excellent season so far, Windham, and we'll see where Windham winds up at that next level. Christine, you got a chance to actually play with these guys at Greater Boston. What do you think?
Yeah, good old Skip 5. Robot is so clean, so fast, and that drive team was so fun to watch all weekend. I'll admit, I got to kind of sit back and enjoy watching from the scoring table when things weren't too busy at the event. And it was really nice because I got to see a lot of these machines that I've been watching on top 25 or on the webcast up close. And Windham is one of those robots where I'm like, man, I cannot wait to see them at district champs. There was one match in particular, it was a quals match where, they were racing back to the stage to go climb. And they came in at a weird angle, and in my head, I was like, "Man, if only their robot had kid arms and could just latch and go, they would have gotten it." And as soon as the match finished, the drive coach came over, and he was like, "Oh man, I pushed him too hard," and I wanted to be like, "Actually, that was pretty sick." Drive team's dialed in. That robot is so slick. Definitely can't wait to see them at district champs. They're at a level of consistency right now that looks so comfortable to them that I feel like between now and our district champs in New England, they're gonna I don't know, something's gonna come in that's gonna be new and exciting for them. So I was excited to play with them and not against them, but with them towards the end. And I can't wait to see just how that robot evolves strategically in the next few weeks.
Christian, I want to add on to that too, because we just released their Behind the Bumpers video today. And one of the things they talked about is they were actually testing a 4028 blower for the trap on their robot as well too.
No.
So they showed one. It's actually quite a bit smaller. So if you go watch the BTB when you get a chance, and it's quite a bit smaller than what 4028's was. And they said they didn't really have any video of it of the time, but they showed it, what it looked like, things like that. So that might be the new secret sauce for that team, and many others. It seems like as well too. But yeah, win and wind up, awesome, loved them. I agree with you, Christine. Super fast. Love that arm that they have, how it folds down, just able to shoot really from anywhere in the field. Very slick.
Gonna start calling them the Wyndham Wind Up.
Wyndham. The Wyndham.
Anyway. Let's move on to our 24 spot. Out of Warrington, Virginia, with an impressive record of 34-0, it's the Fresca Ballet Robotics Club. Rank 1 winners of the Ashland event and first pick winners of the Falls Church event, 1731 is a fast handoff shooter with an under-the-bumper intake. They start off the match with a consistent 6-note auto and cycle to the front of the subwoofer or just off of it, finishing the match with a climb and sometimes an attempt at the trap. Congrats on the season so far, 1731, and we'll see them next at the CHS District Championship in just 2 weeks. Really exciting to see a CHS representation on here. 1731 is such a good robot too, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and not too much on the spoiler side too, but there were, I think, a few others in the top 50 as well too. So they're definitely CHS gained some good representation, at least from the top 50 perspective as well too this week. Once again, when you have so many teams and events competing, really cool to see. And yeah, this team, there's a few others as well that at some point we'll mention. I know at least I think we got one other one coming up in a bit. That a lot of great robots coming from CHS this year, and looking forward to see their district championships and seeing how high that bar can keep going.
In our 23 spot, out of the PNW district, Eugene, Oregon, and Eugene High School, it's CERT. With an almost perfect record of 34-1-0, 2521 is currently rank 1 in the PNW district as the rank 1 winner and EI winner at the Oregon State Fairgrounds district and the rank 1 and winner of the Wilsonville district. 2521 has a quick pivoting shooter on a full width intake that cycles all across their stage zone, and one of the fastest 6.5 note autos that I've seen this season. They are incredibly adaptable to the amp, different cycle paths, and around defense, both at the subwoofer and source zones. Congrats on your season so far, 25-21, and your debut on the top 25 this season. We'll see them next at the PNW District Champs in just a few weeks.
Guys, on the Johnson field last year at Champs, and going into the event, I did some pre-scouting, and they jumped off the page as one of the better teams in the division. But the thing that blew me away is how nice they were when talking to them. Really, really great interactions, really great takeaway, and my experience with that team was awesome. From what I've seen so far, it looks like they've stepped up their game relative to last year, which they were great last year. It'll be fun to see where they progress and where they end up by the time they get to Champs this year.
Yeah, definitely one of those PNW teams that's just kind of been on the rise recently, and this is definitely their best robot so far. So looking forward to see where they go from here, but then also like where they go in future years. Just very exciting to see them on here.
And just as a note, I think they were either a Shoutout or a Snub a couple weeks ago as well too. So I'm glad to see that they're now in the top 25, which is awesome for them for how well they've been doing. Very well deserved.
Moving up to our 22 spot, out of San Jose, California, and San Jose High School, it's the Blazing Bulldogs, playing their second regional with a rebuilt robot with a ranking score of wow, what's it called? Okay, 26-6-0. The Bulldogs placed third this weekend at the Central Valley Regional. They start the match with an alternating midline 4-note auto and follow that with an agile teleop period, playing the receiver in a passing strategy or cycling efficiently to the podium line. Congrats on a great season so far. Go Dogs, and we'll see them next at the highly competitive East Bay Regional in week 6.
Wow, so they're going to pick up even more like match time before they hit Champs.
Yeah, they will. Like they qualified pretty early at their first regional, and now the rest is just gravy. So they're practicing, they're doing some fun stuff, and they're getting ready for that elite level. So
and I bet they're damn sure they're glad they did qualify right, because the events they go to are so difficult. We've seen the Chief Delphi threads on so many California teams not making it. I think East Bay, they're going to be one of like 14 teams that could generate a wild card at that event. And
Wow.
that just tells you just how nuts that event's going to be with how much power is coming to East Bay Regional. It's going to be super cool to see. So yeah, congratulations on a great machine so far this year. I know, Central Valley obviously didn't get as far in performance as what they did at Silicon Valley, but still a phenomenal robot.
Didn't get as far, but still third at Central Valley is like absolutely nuts. So
Yeah.
yeah, super stoked to see what they do for the rest of
I'll say a little bit about 21. 21 is going to be Onyxtronics coming in from Israel after their performance at the Israel District Championship event. Onyxtronics really high up there overall in EPA, performed really well. They were, one of the teams when they were looking in. I know Danny, our correspondent for First in Israel, didn't put them as a contender or lock, and that was a very big thing of contention because they're definitely right up there as well too. So once again, 2231, phenomenal team, very well deserved for them. And if you haven't seen them, very, very fast in the field. We'll try to get some video up as well too. But a phenomenal machine and very well deserved to Onyxtronics.
Yeah, they were actually one of my favorite teams at the Israeli District Championship this weekend, and I'm sorry that I messed that up. But this robot is actually really fantastic. They're one of the most consistent trap scoring robots out there. I love their elevator system that they have to just kind of pop it up and into the trap. They have a phenomenal shooter as well to back it up. So they're getting those ensemble and melody ranking points basically every match. So very exciting to see them on here.
Yeah, the words consistent and trap scoring, I feel like have not been like two things that have not been coming out of people's mouths about too many robots. So, I
Mhm.
mean, I would imagine when we roll into champs after all the different, like district champs and regionals, it's going to be a very short list of teams that are nearly as consistent as this team is when it comes to trap scoring. So I think they're kind of setting the standard right now for like what's like elite trap scoring going to look like and who can keep up with them.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more. All right. Coming up next at number 20, we have team 1727 Rex out of Lutherville, Timonium, Maryland. With a season record of 28-7 and 2 blue banners under their belt so far, Rex has had a really strong start to this year. After being a finalist at their first event, they were able to take home their first event win of the season at the Owings Mills District event, ranking first out of quals. 1727 teamed up with 449 and 1719 in the playoffs, and they would march through the playoffs in dominant fashion, not losing any matches while consistently scoring between 90 and 110 points. Their average margin of victory in the playoffs was over 41 points. Currently ranked 5th in the CHS district, 1727 will be one of the top contenders as their DCMP approaches, which is actually their next event coming up in week 6.
One of the coolest teams out there with those asymmetrical shooters too. Like I think a lot of the teams with the vertical compression have kind of progressed to having both sides really be that shooter, but this team is making it work. Like I know like sometimes their shots kind of arc a little bit sideways, but they've like adjusted for it in their shots. So really cool to see that kind of archetype actually playing out well for them.
Couldn't agree more. We've actually adopted that archetype as well. And it's really trippy. You watch them, they're lined up, maybe 30 degrees offset, and the note just fires out. And, there's no reason that shot is any less accurate. Like you said, you just got to account for it. And they do a great job of it. All right. Next up at number 19, we have the gracious developers of everybody's favorite autonomous tool, Path Planner. We have team 3015 Ranger Robotics out of Spencerport, New York. Competing in their third event of the season after not making finals in their first 2 events, 3015 left nothing to chance at the Buckeye Regional. Seeding first out of quals with a record of 8-1, Ranger Robotics drafted 1787 and 2172 to join them in the playoffs. Some close matches, including a tie with the 8 seed in match 1 and a loss to the 2nd seed, pushed 3015's alliance to a rematch against the 8 seed in match 13. This time, they came away with a 6-point victory, and 3015 got the better of the second alliance in back-to-back finals matches when their auto hit each time, unlike earlier in their loss to the same alliance. With their win, 3015 qualifies for champs, and we're really excited to see what they come away with there. assuming more great auto routines from 3015.
Christine, you and I were talking to Justin quite a bit on Saturday when they won, and just you could just tell the relief that Justin had after what has been a very long season.
Whole group chat blew up. We were just like, Justin, finally, like, and I mean, it's not easy in regionals, especially in New York, where there are so many good teams. It's a deep place, and I mean, there are years where we watched Justin and his team just like punch their ticket right away, but that robot's just been getting better and better. It was really great to see the persistence of that team pay off at this event. So, and I hope they ate some Buckeyes while they were there, because otherwise, what's the point of
Right.
going to the Buckeye Regional?
When the reveal video came out, I mean, it honestly was one of my favorite reveal videos I've ever seen. To see the capabilities of what that robot can be, and now starting to see it come to fruition. Really at this point, because they had some, you can ask Justin. They had some tuning issues. They definitely could have improved on their cycle times and bit and stuff too. And it's not perfect yet, but it's definitely in a spot I think they really want to be. And a team like that is just going to completely work their butts off to get ready for championships.
Couldn't agree more. Very excited and happy for 3015 to make it to champs. That just goes to show how difficult the regional system can be for a team like that to take 3 tries and get the monkey off their back. Really happy that they did. All right, coming up next at number 18, out of Hamerkaz, Israel, is team 1577 Steampunk. 1577 had a slower start to their season than they have in recent years, coming up short of the finals in their first 2 district events. That trend changed at the Israel District Championship, where 1577 was selected 3rd overall to team 5951. Their alliance, along with 4590, consistently scored 100+ points with a high score of 135 points in the playoffs. 1577 is at their best when they're running full field cycles from the source to both the amp and speaker. They're extremely efficient once they get into a groove, and they came up just short, 5 points short in Finals 1, to a powerful number 1 seed. With their strong performances and steady improvement throughout the season, Steampunk is going to be one to watch when they get to champs in Houston.
So I talked to Lidor, who's mentor on that team. 1577 did a full rebuild for district championships coming in, so definitely paid off for them on there. And Israel District Championships, I mean, if you did not watch it, it is right up there. I would say, I don't think it's a hot take by any means, but at a week 4, the toughest event up and through week 4, no doubt, into that. You have a few other, district championships and stuff coming up that's going to give it a run for its money. But man, Israel District Championships, when you have the lineup of teams that they now have, it's just absolutely brutal and insane. And to have them make that much of a comeback so far, they're going to be one of those teams once again at championships that you should be expecting to see either very high or be like a 1, 2, 3 pick.
Yeah, Israel District Championships, by far my favorite event for determining strategy for like late season type of play. Figuring out what does the meta look like? What do the playoff alliances at the Israel District Championship do? Typically, they vary in their strategies, and you can learn a lot from how that week 4 event plays out. By far my favorite early season event to watch. So I saw these guys mentioned in the chat. What people speculating where they're going to end up. But now, next up at number 17, we've got the Greece Gladiators team 1591 out of Rochester, New York. Winners in week 3 at the Finger Lakes Regional. 1591 wasn't done adding to their banner count. In week 4 at the New York Tech Valley Regional, 1591 ranked 2nd, and they teamed up with first seeded 1796 to form a dominant alliance. 1591 features a 3.5-piece center note auto that drives under the stage and scores 2 center notes while grabbing a 3rd. 1591 features a fast and accurate shooter that gets its shots up very quickly after lining up. Their accuracy in the speaker and full field cycling speed made them the obvious pick for 1796. In addition to winning the event, 1591 also walked away with the Excellence in Engineering Award. Their next event will be Champs, where we wish them the best of luck.
Again, just so excited to see 1591 make this list for the 2nd week in a row now. Back-to-back events are tough, and they have truly prevailed through this, and just very excited to see them on here. 1591, like they built the stunning every bot plus last year, and now this year they have what amounts to a crazily engineered, just beautiful machine on this field, and they've only improved at this event. Tech Valley was nothing to sneeze at this year. Surprisingly competitive. Like the mid tier of this regional was pretty deep. So we got to see some very interesting strategies from low seeds, but also from that alliance running triple offense. So definitely a team to watch out for at Champs. Very excited to see 1591 on here.
Whenever I see a team like 1591, my initial thought was, man, they should be ranked higher. And every time I think that, I challenge myself though to look through. We know what the top 25 is coming in, right? So like I challenge myself to look at like who would I put them above or something like that. I also think for this week when you have 38 events going on, that's 15-17 range, I think is actually a pretty good spot for them. I don't necessarily know when you look at some of our other teams coming up, maybe one or two that I would put them ahead, but like this is a team that's not disparaging by any means. They're an incredible team, and to be up against this type of competition this week with all these other teams competing where they are is a phenomenal spot for them, and they should be incredibly proud of the progress that team has made. Like you said, Ari, the last couple seasons, it's been awesome to watch this team.
Well, just wait till we get to the top 50 and you see the teams that didn't even make the cut.
Yeah.
It's this week is mind blowing. The amount of talent going was crazy. Ari, you mentioned the fact that they did a back-to-back. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen more bent frames and bent under the bumper intakes this year than I ever have before. And to do a back-to-back and not, come into an issue that, devastates both events is really impressive on their part. It means they built a durable robot, or they're really good at fixing things. All right, at number 16 in our rankings, out of Silver Spring, Maryland, is Team 449, the Blair Robot Project. With a season record of 29-10, 449 has already built a heck of a resume. 2 blue banners with awards at each district event has them ranked third in CHS at this point in the season. After ranking second at the Owings Mills district event, 449 was picked first overall by 1727. With a 5-piece auto that clears out the close notes and grabs one from the center, 449 complemented 1727's autos perfectly in the playoffs, as they were able to put up 39 points in auto consistently. 449 has the elite ability, like many others on this list, to run 2 full field cycles during an amplification period. This puts them in a class of their own at district events where they could simply outscore their opponents with pure cycling efficiency. 449 will be a strong contender at their district championship, which is their next event coming up in week 6.
Yeah, CHS getting a lot of representation this week, and a lot of like we said before, it's a lot of teams that are really starting to come through and just do absolutely phenomenal. So 449, congratulations to you. I don't know if 449's ever been on the top 25 before. I was trying to think about that, and I don't think so. So if not, welcome. Congratulations on an incredibly tough week that this is to be able to get where you are and perform the way you are. Blair Robot Project, congratulations.
That was a team name that when it came up at Champs when I was in high school, or when we would go down to the Chesapeake Regional, like down at the Naval Academy, which honestly was like one of my like core memory favorite first events. It was really cool to go down there, but that team kicked ass. Like I never wanted to go against them. So to see that team name pop up, if it's their first time in the top 25, rightfully so. So congrats to them, because I hadn't heard that team name in a while, and seeing their performance, especially we were just watching it now, like pretty solid, a solid looking robot.
Yeah, and I think about Christine. I forget exactly what years you were in high school, but 449 I remember from my senior year, which is 2004, and then which they won the Chesapeake Regional as well. So definitely, a big team name back in the day for things. Last year I remember them popping up on in the voting rankings as we process them and stuff. So really cool to see them making that comeback and doing great things over in Chesapeake.
All right, and I'm going to be taking over now in the number 15 spot. So from Tel Aviv, Israel, it is 5951 Makers Assemble. The 5951 machine came out of the gate strong in 2024, winning the ISR number 1 event and making it to round number 5 just days later in the ISR number 2 event. After some time away from the competition field, where they clearly worked on perfecting their machine, they found themselves as the alliance captain of the number 3 seed at the Israeli District Championship. Makers Assemble chose 1577 Steampunk and 4590 Green Blitz to round out their alliance and fought their way through the electric ISR playoffs. After a rough round 4 loss to the number 1 alliance, they took round 5 with a score of 118 to 117 to advance to the finals against the number 1 alliance. After a stiff set of final matches, they came away from the event as finalists. 5951's robot is quite unique in the Crescendo world, featuring sliding shooter intake mechanism that serves as a ground pickup, speaker scoring mechanism, and amp scoring mechanism. Their strong performance this year in the ISR district has left them with a ticket to Houston, where we expect to see them continue their super strong season.
Here's
You
the
like the
sim.
more unique looking robots out there.
Yeah.
You know, in Crescendo we talk about like, oh yeah, it's the cranberry alarm archetype or the Quokka archetype. This is a completely unique looking robot. So they've got this really cool like outside the bumper intake that slides and everything kind of like comes together, and it's really just cool to watch this thing. So highly recommend if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Maker Assemble, it on paper would have been my pick to be that disruption over like a 1690 and a 3339. So to see them go in the finals with Steampunk as well too. What an incredible set of finals matches. They put up a hell of a fight for that. And this is a team that, coming out of Israel, and I've watched a lot of Israel events before, hasn't pinged on my radar too many times prior to this year. So you got another team that's really coming up and out and doing phenomenal things. And as you said, Ari, this is a pretty just awesome robot. Like the look of this robot is just sweet.
I would agree with that. It's a mean looking robot. All right, so keeping it international, in the number 14 spot, we have team 9483 from Besiktas. I just practiced this name. Besiktas Istanbul. It's the Istanbul Wildcats. Finishing off their pre-championship season at the Marmara Regional with a record of 12-0, they took the number 1 seed, were winners of the Autonomous Award, and took home their second blue banner of the season, winning the event. 9483 has stormed onto the scene with one of the most impressive autos in the world, which is a 5-note that picks up 4 notes off the midline. Their simple and speedy robot is the real deal. This rookie has 2 regional wins already this year and is heading to the championship in Houston, where we expect to see them continue impressing the FRC world in their amazing rookie season.
I don't know if anybody else watched any of the regionals in Turkey, but this team is just, it was incredibly dominant, like to a new level sort of thing going on. If I remember correctly, I think they won Barker Graybacks in their first event. I'm trying to remember. I probably should just look it up. But just overall, I mean, this team is just absolutely nuts. Just love what they bring. Or they won Barker Redbacks. I'm sorry. So Graybacks at one, Redbacks at the other. So this is a team that has some prior experience. They have some people from that team that has had some great first experience in it. But a team that, when you look at world championships coming in, there's been a couple teams from Turkey that I think have maybe turned a couple heads in the past. This might be the best robot ever from Turkey coming through. Like this robot is just nuts. If this team is in your division, you need to do your scouting and see what this team has done, because they are a phenomenal machine, and do not underestimate them coming into championships.
I'd go so far as to say they might be the surprise of the year. The most improved, biggest surprise coming onto the scene the way they have. 9483, I've never heard of them before. They're a rookie. That's crazy. And you add the layer of, they're from Turkey. That's an added layer of a challenge, right? And you mentioned they've got experience. I don't care how much experience you have. They're 14 on the FRC top 25.
Yeah.
There are plenty of teams with a lot of experience that never reach that height.
I think they spun off of a different Turkey team, which is why I bring it up.
And I loved I will be very excited to see how they do at champs.
I think if anything, it's a testament to how strong the Turkey FRC community is really becoming. And that was the thing that I'm good friends with Fiona Hanlon, and she was able to go to the two back-to-back regionals in Istanbul, and I mean, she had a great experience, but she was just absolutely amazed by how much the community has grown and how much they're supporting each other to get competitive. So I think this team, whether or not they're a full rookie or they have people that are experienced, I think it's a good testament to like rising tide lifts all boats in that situation.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if that area will go district or not or anything like that, because all their events I think right now are currently around Istanbul, but prior to, remember, unfortunately, they had the earthquakes last year. I believe they were spreading them out in different locations as well, so I think that could be an interesting precursor because Turkey has over 200 teams now. So I think I mentioned this on a prior show. They are now the third largest FRC country in terms of teams globally, which is incredible.
Pretty remarkable. And to answer someone's question in chat, my voice, this is it.
It's
And I
beautiful,
apologize
Christine.
deeply. Thanks. So coming in at the 13th spot, one of my favorite teams that I ever got to be in an alliance with. It is 1796 from Queens, New York. It's the Robo Tigers, ranked number 1 with a record of 8-1-0. They were regional winners and winners of the Autonomous Award. 1796 is one of those teams that seems perpetually underrated despite building world-class robots year after year. This may be the best 1796 robot we've ever seen, except for, I love their 2017 robot Forever and a Day. They were the clear number 1 seed at this event, utilizing their 6+ auto that was very consistent to go along with the great trap mechanism. They chose 1591 Grease Gladiators and 3181 the Pittsburgh Panthers to round out their alliance and take the dub. The Robo Tigers are one of my favorite teams, obviously. Lifelong friends of the Neutrons after winning Carson together in 2017. They have a great team and 2 regional wins to show for it. They still have the New York City regional ahead of them, which is pretty awesome, before heading down to Houston. And I heard that they're heavy, heavy favorites to win the New York City regional. So good luck to them and congratulations.
I also just love the Robo Tigers. Like again, perpetually underrated, just even within the region. And it's only like they've started coming up to the upstate New York regionals that like they're becoming more well known around even just New York. But just the consistency in this robot is incredible. So they had forget how many qual matches. I think it was like 9 qual matches. They had 8 qual matches, and of the 8 qual matches, they got the Melody ranking point bonus in 7 of them, and the one that they didn't was because they broke. So just absolutely incredible consistency in this robot. We will definitely be seeing them getting that ranking point in every single one of their matches at New York City. Just they came out at Hudson Valley in their first regional, in their first practice match, and they hit all 6 notes in auto. And they've just hit it for the rest of the season too. So just incredible robot here, incredible consistency. I love this thing, and I can't wait to see what they do for the rest of the season.
First, I want to come out and say that it's unacceptable that they only got 8 quals matches. That's totally uncool. Yeah. It's unfair to me because I love watching them, and I watch them more. To me, this is the most underranked team on the list. They're a top 10, if not a top 5 team in the world. Not just week 4, bar none. They're a top 10 team in the world. They're crazy. Loved watching them, and I think they're going to go really far. I think they're going to win their division at champs.
Christine, you weren't kidding, by the way, in regards to the New York City regional. Look at the EPAs on this. 1796 is a 42.6 EPA. The next closest is Binary Bolts and Stipulse, which are at 27. So that is quite the disparity gap at this event. So yeah, I mean, Robo Tigers, I mean, that's 100% a lock, right? Going into that event. No question about it.
But it's all alliance based. So, I mean,
well, if you only get 8 matches, maybe so, but
wouldn't know. I'm in a district. And moving on.
Zing.
Moving on to the number 12 spot. It's your cousin from Boston, 125, the Neutrons. The 125ers opened up their doors in Revere to compete at the Greater Boston District event this past weekend. After a win at the Bridgewater State University event week 2, the Neutrons looked to bring the heat on at their own home turf week 4. After going 10-2 in quals, 125 was the top seed and reunited with their winning partners from 2023, 34-67 Wyndham Windup, and rounded out the alliance with 24-23 the Quarks. The number 1 alliance subbed in 43-11, the Swampscott Currents after playoffs number 1. The playoffs in Greater Boston were hot, with 2 of the highest combined score match totals of the year coming out of this event, including the 144 to 113 finals number 1 score. After a loss to the powerful number 6 alliance in round 4, the number 1 alliance hit their stride in the finals and put up scores of 132 to 134 unpenalized on their way to the win.
So, Christine, first off,
125 this year.
I was going to say
Crazy.
congratulations. You know, we talked earlier on stream, Christine is on 125. It's always one of those funny things when we make our hosts read their own team things off. It's pure coincidence because we assign what slots are going to get ahead of time on it. But, I mean, Christine, 125 just looked phenomenal out there. I'm so happy that I got to see them compete at Greater Boston and interview your team as well, too, because first off, your students are phenomenal. It's one of the best interviews I've done this year for sure. And just overall, just a really well comprised machine. Everything that goes into it. So cool. Ari, what do you make of 125?
I what do I make of them? I want to make sure that they're not in our division as district champs. This robot is crazy this year. I think one of the most interesting things that came out of this playoffs matches was that you guys originally started with a feeding strategy. You were trying to like feed across the field and see if that was quicker. But then in the finals matches and in a few of them before that, you actually transitioned to just a straight up cycling strategy because that ended up being faster. And that is just how fast that 125 alliance could score. So just completely impressive robot, even more impressive driving. Love this thing and can't wait to see it at district champs up close and in person.
And
I'd like to put a plug in too for 125's culture. They're a team that we look up to on, you know, how well-rounded they are. And I just maybe not talked about on this show a lot is the culture of teams and the, you know, the awards stuff too. But 125 is a team that I point my students to look at as a team to emulate.
Well, that means a lot coming from everybody, guys. Thanks so much. It was definitely a rough weekend. It is like the torture weekend where Brandon, our drive coach, is running the event and is not coaching. And the point that you made about shifting that strategy, it definitely like I need to mic up myself to get Brandon's like secondhand torture of not coaching because there was a point during the match shift where he literally went from stress like ranting to himself to being like, "That's it, guys, let's go. Like that's smart. Now we're playing smart." And it was like, okay, like all right, and it's a testament to, and it's funny, like he's always said, along with Josh, who's the other lead on our team, like if we just get a practice field, we'll be able to actually like get to that next level of our drivers having that experience rather than being like, let's go beat the crap out of the robot at 4 more events to hit a playing field. But yeah, the whole overall feeling of the weekend this weekend was not nearly as stressful as previous years because of the amount of like preparation our students and team put into this event, knowing that we would be spread thin. Also, just a side note, and I know so many other students are going through it this time of year, but we have so many students that are observing Ramadan that we're getting through everything that's going on, which I have a lot of admiration for our students for kind of coming together and working together, getting through that this weekend. But thank you for your kind words. As somebody that doesn't have anything to do with the robot, I would agree it's pretty crazy robot, and I've been absolutely blown away watching us actually. And I will say this is probably one of the best autonomous years we've ever had. I wouldn't consider us a autonomous strong or programming strong team typically, but the students have really been working super hard, and I'm excited to see where we go. I hope it breaks a little less in the next few events. They did great repairs, but I'm like, oh, is it broken coming off the field? Yep, something's dangling, but that's kind of how New England goes.
I also just want to mention the wrap up on this too is that we did have Brando on FRC Roundup last night as well too. So if you want to hear a little bit more about 125's culture, how they were approaching finals at this event as well too, a lot of great tidbits on FRC Roundup that you can find on YouTube.
Thanks. And coming in at the 11th spot, one of my favorite teams, it is Team 176. Out of Windsor Locks, Connecticut, it's Aces High, and they're coming off another district win at the Western New England District, and they were also winners of the Autonomous Award. After qualifications, they'd be ranked second to be picked up by their BFFs, 177 Bobcat Robotics, and would go on to pick fellow original UTC neighbors, 173 Rage Robotics. Warms my Connecticut UTC original heart. This year's robot is another slam dunk of an Aces robot, super well driven, and they execute their strategy at a high level every single time. Throughout their entire weekend, this robot was running a million cycles, regardless of the defense being played before or during teleop. The Aces robot featured a multi-purpose arm that shoots into the speaker and climbs, and a nifty flap mechanism that allows them to quickly score in the amp. They feature a number of auto modes in the hopper and face some stiff autonomous against friend and rival 195 in the finals of Winnick. Congratulations to 176 so far, and I'm excited to see this robot up close at district champs. Last few years, I've kind of enjoyed seeing that their robots up close, because seeing it on the stream is cool, but I feel like their robots always have some really cool, like simple design, but when they're moving on the field, look totally different.
My favorite 176, 177 story is that I forget which one, but one of them uses up their first choice leftover points to get a bunch of fuel, and they do the Andy Mark ship to pit at champs. And so one of them will show up and their entire pit will be just flooded with fuel, the 2017 game piece for those who don't know. But,
Phenomenal.
no, just another fantastic robot for 176. I think it's funny, the 17X Alliance, I think I saw in chat.
Yeah.
I don't know how many 170 teams are left, but for three of
A
them to
lot.
be on one alliance, that's pretty crazy.
Well, no, it's so the funny thing is it's 175, 170, or 173, 175, 176, 177 are the original Connecticut, like United Technology Corporation, like family sister teams that would all practice together way back in the 90s. And they're all around still. And 178, which is like further south in Connecticut, but they're all still around. And it is just very rare, except for 177, 176, like it's very rare that you get a trifecta, like a lineup. So to see that, I was like, whoa, that's, yeah, 90s. Like it was a really cool, and they're all like in really good shape. I don't know. It was a really solid alliance all around. I feel like 176 and 177, when they get their strategic brains together too, it's like I would not want to go up against that, period.
Yeah, it was fun to go up against that. So you said they're doing a million cycles. You are absolutely correct. They averaged 9.5 cycles, and that is with one match where they only got 2 because they broke. Their max at this event was 14. They hit that twice, and they hit 13 3 times. This robot is just putting notes up in the speaker. Like, they're absolutely insane. This robot is very cool. Definitely, for sure. Who owns the sky? It's Aces High.
So as a side note, it's really funny you say that because I just edited their behind the glass mic'd match, and that was said like a few times out there. So like you've now triggering my brain from editing that all day today. So very cool. Hey, we got a few things to jump into before we get into our top 10. So first off, let's thank our friends at Kettering University for their continued sponsorship and support of First Updates. Now, time is running out, students. If you are looking at applying to Kettering University, to apply for that $5,000 a year First Robotics Scholarship. That's on top of everything else you can get as well too at Kettering University. One of the greatest things about Kettering University is their co-op program. When you go to Kettering University, you will be matched with the company that work for, so you can earn money while going to school. You'll work at a company for a while, no class, then go to school, go to class, and keep doing that back and forth, keep earning more money and experience and everything that really gets you prepared and set up for getting out of college as well too. Kettering University, a lot of great things as well too. They have a phenomenal First Center combat robotics program, awesome esports program as well too, and of course one of the leading engineering programs in the world as well too. So go check them out at kettering.edu/first and tell them that fun sent you. kettering.edu/first. And don't forget to submit your clips of the week every, pretty much through now from now until end of Monday as well, too, on our Discord channel. And just for a few reminders, we put suggestions in there as well, too. But obviously, we can't get always like the super high crisp quality video, but let us, when you submit stuff, Give us a description of what's going on. It's very hard sometimes to follow what's going on, so we try our best to zoom in and that sort of thing. But thank you to everybody for your submissions as well too. Clips of the Week is always a lot of fun to put together. It's a sprint every single week to put together, but a lot of fun to do as well too. So we're going to start our first giveaway of the evening from our friends at Cross the Road Electronics. We're giving away another one of those awesome Phoenix Pro licenses as well too. This is good for the 2025 season. I mean, I guess it can be 2024 if you wanted to, but let's plan on 2025, everybody. So with that said, Phoenix 6 is the next evolution in software and firmware, and supported by CTR, provides major improvements and feature additions compared to the older Phoenix 5 framework. So if you're interested in winning this, type in Chicken Little in chat right now. That's your opportunity. It's Chicken Little, 2 words. You got to type that in chat in order to enter. And if you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, it's absolutely free. You get 3 times luck to win. And we're going to draw for this after our number 6 team. So with that said, let's hop back into the top 25. We're going to count down 10 through 6 before we get into a few more things. And Ari, who do we got at number 10?
Let's start off our top 10. We've got Team 1756 Argos out of Peoria, Illinois, and Limestone Community High School. With a record of 22-6-0, Argos is a quick cycling robot with a consistent trap score. Going back to back weeks 3 and 4 is tough, but 1756 upped the level that they played that this weekend for sure, ranking second with a rank score of 2.83 despite 3 losses. Debuting last week in our top 25 at 16th, they've since hit many more cycles on the field, improved their auto averages, and perfected that super useful far side shot. One interesting thing that they've added is an up high shot, presumably to shoot around any smiley face blockers that they may encounter. Congrats on a great event, 1756, and I'm super excited to see them compete next in Houston at the World Championships.
So Illinois is the only regional area, in my opinion, that gives California even a little bit of a run for their money, at least at the top. And nobody gives California a run for their money, but Illinois, the top level in Illinois is unreal this year. And I think Argos might be the top of the heap in Illinois, which they're crazy. They're so fun to watch. That robot's going to go far at the World Championship.
I'll agree with you on everything except top team. I'll still go back and forth with the Robotics this year and their performance at Central Illinois Regional as well. I always think of 1706 as being an Illinois team, but they're not. They're St. Louis, right? So right on the border for things. And Argos is phenomenal, and I have a lot of friends on that team as well too. They are definitely a team that I agree with you. They're going to go far. They had I think they surprised a lot of people last year at championships as well too. They were a lower seed. I think they were division finalists off the top of my head on there, and made a really great run coming through. So their robot this year is phenomenal. I got a chance to see it. We have it behind the bumpers out for it. Phenomenal machine, and congratulations to everybody on Argos for another fantastic season, at least as it's looking so far as they get ready for champs.
We're going to move south out of the regional system and into districts. Out of Greenville, Texas, and Greenville High School, it's 148, the Robo Wranglers. With a record of 32-4-0, 148 was the rank 1 and winner of both the Plano and Dallas district events this season. Locking for 3 unicorn ranking point matches, 148 was able to use their trap scoring and long shot scoring efficiency to take those ranking points. They've improved on their 4-note auto from a few weeks ago, making 6 notes from the amp-sided auto, making use of their double-sided collector. Headed into teleamp, you can count on them to clean up anything outside of the source on the opposite side of the field before cycling to the amp or speaker. Congrats on a standout performance with Outlaw this weekend, and we'll see them next in 2 weeks at the First in Texas District Championship.
Coming in after their first win this year, I made a comment. I said, hey, I'm not sure. They had a little bit of rough start in 2023. They ended up winning the division right last year championships, and I said I wasn't fully convinced that they were 100% back. I'm convinced now. Like, 148 looks awesome. They are exactly the team of old that many of us remember of being that powerhouse. And it's just, I think the big difference is that it's not just 148, 118 anymore. There's just more players in that mix now for being those elite teams, right? So now you have the Robochargers. Now you have 2468. Now you have, a few other teams that are really trying to make that mix as well. But 148, I don't think has now digressed anything from what they were in the past. And it's great to see them back up on top as an elite team again.
Yeah, I'm going to hop on that exact same sentiment. I just saw somebody post in the chat like that 140. They said Robo Wranglers are such a nice team. I literally couldn't agree with that more. Last year at Champs, I was excited to go AAC. Adrian, one of my great friends, who I had to literally convince her. I'm like, you guys are exactly the team that you have been, regardless of whether or not your performance was standout enough for other people to notice. Um, Funny thing was, like last year, they weren't sure how their season was going to pan out. Like checking in with Adrian and friends on that team, they were like, "Oh man, I don't know about the season. It's gonna be really rough." And then literally leaving Champs, like after we ended unfortunately ended their season on Einstein, they were like cry laughing about how their season ended out. Like, look at how far we came. And I will say the amount of improvement that they showed between their first and Matthew just said 148 is back, baby. Baby, they didn't go anywhere. They are just shining like the disco ball that they are. But I think there's been huge improvement since their first event. First event wasn't nearly as competitive statistically as the event that they just showed up to, which they also had to fight off lots of ticks and other things, bugs that were physical, not just in
Quite
robots,
literally
but
ticks. Yeah.
horrifying. If you're at that event, and I do truly mean this, and you got bit by something, just go to a doctor, get it checked out. Don't roll the dice. But anyway, I think they had a really strong showing at this event, and I think that they're going to continue to crank it out when they go to show up at Texas District Champs. Um, but that's going to be a super competitive event
Oh my
too.
God. Yeah.
But I mean, if there's one thing that I feel like 148 is great at, it's just keeping themselves level-headed and like kind of just like I don't know, kicking down the door with whatever's there and plowing through it. Um, it's a team I would not want to go up against. It's not it's not fun to go up against them. Their robots are incredible. And this year's robot I feel like is very zippy, like last year's robot when it was like brr, 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 brr. So I'm excited to see it in person this year. I hope. I mean, I can't see them not making it to champs with the robot that they've got. So congrats to them and shout out to their shop dog, Ruby.
Any team that has a shop dog is automatically like
She's got some attitude
elite
too.
tier
She's a
in
Shiba.
my a Shiba. Oh wow.
Mhm.
Got to revisit that show us your shop dogs thread, like got to bring that back. Anyway, we're going to move quickly over to our 8th spot. We're familiar with this team in the top 10 this season. It's Hall of Fame Team 27, Rush. Out of Clarkson, Michigan and Clarkson High School with a record of 44-4-0, Rush was the winner of the Finger Lakes Regional and the first Troy District in Michigan. With an impressive rank score of 3.08, Rush would hit the Melody bonus in every single one of their matches this past weekend, perfecting their passing strategy to hit the amp zone every single time and cycling quickly when they didn't. Rush is an incredible force to be reckoned with this season, and I can't wait to see how they play with the elite tier at the Michigan State Championship in a few short weeks. Congrats on your season so far, 27, and good luck.
I sometimes have a hard time following Michigan only because there are so many good teams, but 27 stands out as just head, not maybe not head and shoulders, but above the rest for sure. They're going to be a favorite on their field for going to Fimstein, undoubtedly. And 27, maybe the most impressive robot they've built. I've said that for a few teams now, but for them, I think it really does stick.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them play with they are so good at passing. Like they practically invented it. And I can't wait to see them do that with like the teams that we're gonna see at the Michigan District Championship that, they're passing to them and there'll be two robots on the other side that can receive. So maybe one of them's like only focusing on the amp and then the other one's just kind of, shooting all those into the speaker while it's amplified. It's going to be crazy. And I'm so here for it.
27 is so quick with their passing. They can for sure keep one robot fully busy. At lower levels of play at districts events, they're able to keep two robots busy and cycle on their own. They're so efficient, so good at passing. I'm not like on team passing as being a viable thing at champs. I feel like three cyclers are gonna kind of become the meta, but I think 27 maybe makes me question that more than any other team.
Yep. I completely agree with that. We're going to move up to our 7th spot. Out of Waialua, Hawaii and Waialua High School, it's the Hawaiian Kids. We talked about them in week one in the 14th spot, and in their outing this week, they came out with an impressive showing, going completely undefeated, ranking one and winning the San Diego Regional. Their shooting and autos have improved remarkably, shooting from under the stage for their 6-note auto, and for most of the match. They end the match with a consistent climb and trap score, ending the event with a ranked score of 3.44. That
Wow.
is just only a few matches without 4 ranking points. Congrats on a stellar event 359, and we'll see them next this weekend at the very competitive Midwest Regional.
I'm so sad I'm not going to get to see them at Las Vegas this year. 359's come to Vegas the last couple of years, and we're not able to get in. That regional filled up really, really fast. But with that said, the Midwest Regional is absolutely stacked this year.
It's stacked.
Wow, there are a very impressive set of teams, and not just from the Midwest. Like this has become like the transient regional almost, where I mean, there's teams from multiple different countries coming in to compete at this one. You got teams like non-Illinois teams, Bomb Squad's coming in, X-Cats coming in, who's had good performances as well too. Hawaiian Kids, McGuanago Bears, who just won a couple weeks ago as well too. Team Titanium as well, and then you got some of your Illinois teams like 111, 112, 111, who had a rough start at CIR. They are, I think, by the time if you watch them, by the time they get the playoffs, I think they're back to where they need to be on things. So this event just overall is just going to be a phenomenal one. And not saying I don't want you all to watch the Las Vegas Regional, but the Midwest Regional is going to be really good to watch.
So we'll move down to our another one of our district events here. Enough about regionals. So no stranger to our top 25 this season. And at the highest that we've had them yet, out of Houston, Texas, in Clear Creek Independent School District, it's 118, the Robonauts. With a record of 53-10-0 this season, that is that many matches. That is 63 matches. Holy cow.
Wow.
They were the winners of the Caddy District, the Tallahassee Regional, the Houston District this past weekend. 118 is probably one of the most infamous examples of the swear it this season. And they have actually one of my favorite trap mechanisms in the game. They are dialed in now. They're shooting on the move and collecting from even more directions than should be possible. And this is, in my opinion, 118's best robot yet. And in a game that rewards time with the real field, they're making as good a case as ever. Congrats on making it past the halfway point of your season, 118. And we'll see them next this weekend at the First in Texas Space City at Friendswood's event. They have so many matches where they hit all 4 of those amplified shots just by themselves by collecting just missed shots in front of the subwoofer. They are so impressive this year. I'm blown away by this robot.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it in clips of the week. That was the first clip that played, was literally 118 just going and going boop, 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 and just getting all of them right away. And also, did you see the 360 autonomous shot? Like, I don't know if they're just flexing on that or not, but what the heck was that? Like, it was pretty awesome, but definitely something I wasn't expecting when it got submitted the clips of the week. That was pretty cool. All right, so before we get into our top 5, we got a few things to talk about. We got our top 50 shout-outs and our snubs to go through. But before we do that, let's go ahead and draw for our first giveaway. Once again, that was from our friends at Cross the Road Electronics for the Phoenix Pro license. Chicken Little was the keyword, so hopefully you type that in. Not a whole bunch of times, just need to type it in once. The winner of that is going to be Easy IE. Congratulations. Make sure you go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner in order to claim. And thanks again to Crossroad Electronics for the awesome giveaway of that Phoenix Pro license. We got another giveaway coming up in a little bit, but before we do that, we're going to go over and bring up our top 50 teams, our 25 or 26 through 50. As we mentioned this week, so many teams, that are so deserving of these top spots on here. So we're going to give a few shout outs as we go through. Let's start with Christine. Who's your shout out of the week going to be for our teams in 26 through 50?
So my shout out is going to go to Killer Bees 33. They had a really great event this past weekend, and I feel like they came into the event with a handful of really awesome new things. They had new climb, new last climb, fast climb, climber, crazy fast. There's definitely like still tuning and continue to improve like throughout the event. Their performance definitely continued to get better and better. Um, they did a ton of super successful passing play, and something that like I noticed just kind of going through their match videos that when they were dialed in, they were like wildly obviously on, and I feel like if they hit the ground running like that at Michigan State champs, they're really going to be a great contender for, what did you call it? Fimstein.
Fimstein, that's right.
Fimstein.
Yep.
Yeah. So shout out to them. Really excited to see where they go from here. Like, this is probably one of the 33 robots like in the past few years that like I really want to see. Like, it's hard to pay attention during MSC because there's so many teams and so much action going on, but I definitely want to keep a close eye on them.
All right, let's go over to Ari. Ari, who's your shout out
Yeah.
in 26 through 50?
My shout out is to number 50 ranked teams. They're really scooting on there. 177 Bobcat Robotics. We got a chance to play with and against them this past weekend at Western New England, and they were just on fire this weekend. They were averaging 8.4 cycles with a max of 12, hitting that max of 12 fairly often. Just really cool to see them really honing in that consistency after their first event at Hartford. And so much consistency. In fact, they finished with a rank score of 3.0, and they were able to take that first seed and select 176 Aces High. So just really excited to see where that robot goes and if that consistency trends upward, and what they're going to do at District Champs. So pretty excited to see them on here.
All right. For me, sorry, a little delay there. I would like to shout out Team 4607. I think this might be the best robot that 4607's ever built, and I've got a pretty good perspective because I was involved with their first 10 robots that they built. Believe it or not, they, up to this point, had more division championship wins than they did regional wins. Their last regional win coming in my junior year of high school, 2013. And they finally matched their total of division championship wins, got their second regional win this year. Couldn't be more proud of them. Like I said, best robot that they've ever built. They're going to be a team that only progresses throughout the year. By the time they get to the championship, they're going to be, a first round pick, in my opinion. They're going to be a team that kind of surprises some people. And I think they're better than the 48th team this week. I'll also give a quick shout out to 4143. Their alliance together overcame what I believe was just a baffling red card in the playoffs, which knocked them to the lower bracket. Didn't matter. They powered through, came back, and they won in back-to-back matches in the finals. Well deserving of being on the top 50, and excited to see where they go from here.
There we go. My shot for this week is going to be a team from P&W that was on the top 25 and somehow drifted back off again. But then again, one of the other P&W teams was like 23rd or something like that. And that's going to be for 2046 Bare Metal. 2046 is just so fast in the field. And the way that they perform, it's just been phenomenal so far. So for me, a team like that to do as well as they've been doing, and they got 31st. So once again, when you have this many events going on and this many teams and stuff like that, I think any other week we'd see them up in the top 25 for that, when you just have as many votes coming in as we did. But you're talking about, a 38.1 EPA on that, one of the highest EPAs in our top 26 through 50 as well too. Definitely a team you need to keep an eye out for. Their autonomous has been really great this year. So I can't wait to see how they keep going as they get ready for district championships. So that is 2046 Bare Metal. So as always, there's a lot of teams that, are going to be in that list. We'll be talking about our snubs in just a moment as well too, but we're going to start our second giveaway of the evening from our friends at AnyMark, who are giving away a set of these compliance stars. So you get a whole rainbow set of them for that. And if you're interested in winning one of these, type trap right now. We saw actually a couple teams that we got to interact with were using these compliance stars as their trap mechanism as well too. So the compliance stars are very versatile. We've seen intakes, we've seen trap mechanisms, a lot of cool stuff that you can do with the compliance stars from AnyMark. So type trap in chat. Man, say that 5 times right now, and that's your opportunity to win. And thanks again to AnyMark for the awesome giveaway. Let's get into our snubs of the week. So these are teams that didn't even make the top 50 that, as us correspondents, we mentioned this week, this was really tough because there's quite frankly, quite a few teams that I think are going to qualify in this. But let's end it with Christine first. Talk about who is outside of your top 50 they feel should be on the inside there. Christine, who do you got for us?
I'm going to go with 190, Gumpy and the Herd. They were on the number 6 alliance at the Greater Boston District, and I will tell you right now, forget exactly which match they refer to it as in the playoffs, but it was the number 6 alliance that they were on versus the 78 alliance, which was nuts. And it was actually when the Neutrons robot was broken, so it was just like me and my dog sitting next to the field watching this match. My jaw was on the floor the rest of the time. They had their amp cycling down, like that whole alliance was dialed in. But 190 came up with a really strong robot this year. This is a team that has provided so much to the FRC community, especially in New England, year after year. And it's a team that's typically spread thin because they're doing that. And this year they showed up with a super strong robot. I think they have some really great FRC alumni that are working with their students and providing the support that they deserve. And it was really obvious this weekend because they came out and absolutely dominated more than I've seen them dominate before. They have this one pink wheel that's 3D printed on their robot, and it at one point broke and flew off into the table in front of me, and it was like this little pink shard, and I kept finding little pieces all weekend, so that was nice. But this is a team that I think is going to continue to do well. They're going to be an incredible alliance partner moving forward, if not a captain on one of the fields at our district championship that's coming up. But they absolutely blew me away this weekend, and I think apple pie on their alliance too, and Control Freaks. But in general, 190 I think was my snub for the week.
All right, Ari, who you got
Okay,
for
I'm
us?
going to move over to my snub of the week, and my snub of the week is Team 1699, the RoboCats out of Colchester, Connecticut. This was the best team at Western New England. They averaged the highest amount of cycles per match, even with all the teams that were at this event. This robot is absolutely insane. They've built exactly the right robot for their team. It is a low cycler that shoots into the speaker and the amp, and that is all it does. It climbs also, but they were averaging 10 cycles per match with a max of 11. That is incredibly consistent. To just be within one cycle of your max at every single time. Their speaker accuracy was 95.5%. That means that they only missed once at the entire event. This is a beautiful robot that is going to fly under everyone's radar going into district camps. So this is your shout out. This is your warning. 1699 is out there. They made finals from the 5th seed with 195. They have a fantastic robot, and they are criminally underrated this week. So keep your eye on them for real.
All right, Ryan, who you got?
For me, my shout out is, my snub is Team 5817 Unirex. I'm just blown away that they're 2-time finalists. They're big time losers of the regional system. More so than almost any other team out there. I mean, they're 2-time finalists in the most challenging regional system in the world in California. Amazing robot. They would win most regionals outside of that state. They would be at least in contention at most events outside of that state. Shout out to Colin Warren's Woody Flowers finalist award there. Really happy for him. And 5817, a team that we're going to sorely miss at the World Championship event.
I like that cut, Ryan, because honestly, before you selected them, I haven't heard of that team, so I got to do a little more research on it, and I couldn't agree with you more on them. So thanks for calling them out. That's a cool team. I really haven't heard it before. So let's talk about a team that everybody should hear of, and for some damn reason, they're not on the top 25 this week. And I honestly, I couldn't believe it. I absolutely could not believe it. And that's going to be 5895 Petty Robotics. I think I put 8 on accident. Sorry, this is 5895. Petty Robotics has just been absolutely insane this year. And we've had FMA teams on the top 25. So it's very disappointing not to see them on the top 25, especially even not the top 50 as well, too, which is, I think, just absolutely nuts for how well Petty Robotics has been doing. Overall, they're just a very complete machine from autonomous to teleop as well, too. quick cycles, very accurate cycles on it. I like everything that Petty has to bring in this game. Shout out as well to their alliance partners 103 this week. Just an absolute master class in how a match should be played, and with their alliance partners 44 as well too. So, but Petty Robotics, this is them and like Krypton and Midnight Inventors would be like we only pick 2 locks typically in our locks, but it'd be very difficult to choose between those 3 and then put 103 in as a contender. FMA champs is going to be awesome, and there's some really big teams up at top that are deserving. So shout out to Petty Robotics for me. Let's get into our top 5 teams. We got 5 left to go with this countdown. This is a pretty epic week here. Let's find out who's in number 5, Ryan.
Let's do it up. So the first team cracking our top 5 has maybe the most powerful shooter in FRC this year. Out of Hamerkaz, Israel, it's team 3339 Bumblebee. With a season record of 42-8-1 and now 3 banners under their belt, this is already the most banners in team history for 3339. 3339 last won the Israel District Championship in 2017, despite being a top contender basically every year. To me, this is their best robot they've built, and they really have it all. I still haven't seen a team take and make as many wing line shots as Bumblebee. If 3339 and 1690 end up on the same championship division field, we will have an opportunity for 2 teams to win 4 different events together, a feat that I can't imagine has been replicated many times. 3339 is absolutely a contender for their first division win since they went back-to-back in 2015 and 2016. 3339, that shooter is unbelievable. I want to know the specs on it. Tyler, if you get a chance to do a behind the bumpers on them, that would be one that I'd love to watch.
Definitely one that will be on my radar come championships as well too. There's a lot of great teams from Israel that we haven't done any yet so far this year and are very deserving. Bumblebee looks incredible. I can't wait to speak with them more.
All right. Next up in the top 5, coming in at number 4, is team 1706, the Ratchet Rockers out of Wentzville, Missouri. 1706 was awesome in 2023, but they have stepped up their game another notch this year. After going 15-2 and winning the Central Missouri Regional, 1706 outdid themselves by going undefeated at the St. Louis Regional. 1706 scored 95 points or more in 7 of their 12 quals matches. They beautifully mix in elite tier feeding with fast and effective full field cycles. They're essentially able to keep a rebounder robot busy without missing much of a beat while cycling themselves. If you want to learn how to play Crescendo at a high level, watching 1706 is extremely valuable. Their tactics and decision-making are consistently great, and the results have spoken for themselves. 1706 will be a strong contender at their next event, which is the World Championship in Houston.
Yeah, this team is just...
You mentioned before that 27 really kind of made the feeding strategy next level for you, and you weren't really confident in it, but 1706, the way that they feed, how it goes in with the rest of their cycles and how they're keeping another robot busy while also cycling themselves, that is how I think that feeding is going to work at this elite level. And I'm very excited to see 1706 do it, but also some other teams do it who are inspired by 1706.
Yeah, for me, 1706, prior, their 2022 robot was my favorite. I absolutely love that machine that they brought to the table. This, I think, tops it. It is so cool to watch on the field. I cannot wait to see this robot in person. 1706 knows I've been a big fan of them for a long time now. And this robot is an elite tier robot at elite level. And this is a lock for a division coming in as it stands right now. Just absolutely great machine. And congratulations, the Ratchet Rockers, for continuing just some phenomenal success. And you think about areas, once again, that they're from the St. Louis area, right? You have teams that you don't always necessarily think of being powerhouse areas, but you look at that St. Louis, and we'll connect it with that Peoria area as well too. And you got like them and Mars Wars and Robotics and Argos and a few others. And wow, there's a great set of teams coming out from around this area.
Couldn't agree more, Tyler. Our third-ranked team now, coming out of Redwood City, California, is team 5940 Bread. At 29-4, Bread has been insanely consistent this season. And when I say insanely consistent, let me go through some data. 5940 has had 2 losses in quals and ranked second at both of their events this season. They've been the first overall pick at both of their events. They've swept their way through the playoffs with average scores over 100 points to earn consecutive blue banners. And they've won the Autonomous Award at each of their events this season. Brett is just as consistent on the field as they are off the field, with elite play in all aspects of the game, from feeding to amping to scoring in the speaker. They also handed 1323 one of their 2 losses on the season. 5940 is only trending up and has one more play at the East Bay Regional before they look at their second Einstein appearance at the World Championships.
Bread is delicious. Bread is a lot of fun. They are really cool in the field. And this, once again, another team. I'm not going for the puns. I'm just saying they're, oh, okay, I guess I started that way. But just overall, Ari, you know my pun game's not strong. So just overall looking at this team, Brett is great. A team that once again we've interviewed for the last couple of years as well too. And we talk about that power out of California. This is the power out of California right here. Brett is phenomenal.
All in the sandwich, the way that they're on a roll.
All right, I'm taking Ari's line here. The drama, as always, is in the 2 spot. Is it Israel? Is it California? This time around, we have the shortest robot in FRC this season, Team 1690 Orbit, at 48-2-1 with 3 blue banners this season. Orbit has somehow outperformed their recent success in 2022 and 2023, winning their 3rd consecutive Israel District Championship. I didn't think they'd ever top their 2022 robot with all that shooting on the move, but I think they officially have surpassed that already this year. They have fewer losses to this point in the season than they did that year, and Orbit is going to be a favorite to win their division at Champs. There's really not much more I can say about Orbit. We've had them on here a few times already this year. They're one of the best teams in the world this season. I can't believe that this won't be the season that they finally break through to Einstein for the first time since 2016. It is crazy to think with how good they've been. They haven't been to Einstein since 2016. This has got to be their year. They are so good. And the way they packaged that robot, it makes me feel like a kindergartner. I wish that I had the thought and the brilliance to package the robot and to play the game the way that they do.
Seriously, when we go to get our behind the bumpers with them, it'll literally be like the area that is behind the bumpers. Because that's their entire robot.
This team honestly gives like the most in-depth interviews ever. By the way, if you have seen a 1690 interview, they tend to set records sometimes in regards to length because there is so much to go into for this one. I'm specifically thinking of their is there a 2021 or 2022 interview as well? But this team, I mean, watch it. I mean, the robot drives itself half the time. It's almost one of those like, it's almost like a car, right? Where it's like, you just need human intervention occasionally, but the car can do what it needs to do. The robot does what it needs to do with human intervention on things. This is a phenomenal machine, absolutely inspirational. And man, as you said, Ryan, earlier, how low can you go? I mean, this is like a limbo contest at some point coming here.
All right. Our top team of the week, last season's world championship or champion winners, making a late season debut. We have team 1323 Madtown Robotics. Madtown wasted no time making a statement at a highly competitive Central Valley Regional with a 10-2 record in quals and a clean sweep in the playoffs, giving them their first event win of the season. Looking like a team that's been practicing for many, many weeks, 1323 doesn't have any flaws in their game. They excel in all aspects. They have a great chance to follow up last season's championship win with another this year. Next up for 1323 is the Monterey Bay Regional, where they're going to look to keep building on their momentum going into champs. And as a side note, RC's got some pretty good reflexes. I think all those mentor dodgeball games at champs have really paid off.
There's some inside cuts there, Ryan. On that, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly where the second was, where that note goes over the wall and gets caught and very coyfully returned as well too. But yeah, 1323, phenomenal machine once again. Looks exactly how I imagine a 1323 robot to look every single year. So congrats to them, not only for being number one in the top 25 this week, but for another phenomenal machine and showcasing once again that big, wide chunky robots can still have a phenomenal place on the field. All right, so congratulations to all of our teams for the top 25 this week. Let's go ahead and draw for our giveaway from our friends at AndyMark. Once again, that was for those compliant Star Wheels. So trap was your keyword to type in there. And the winner of that is going to be, I got to scroll down. There we go. Winner of that is going to be Kerr Flappadoodle. Congratulations, Kerr Flappadoodle. Please make sure you go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner in order to claim. And thanks again to AndyMark and also to Crossroad Electronics for the awesome giveaways on the FRC Top 25 this week. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Special thanks to anybody who clicked on the subscribe button to stay up to date on all content that First Updates Now is creating. Don't forget to ring that bell as well, too. And also thank you to everybody who has become a fun supporter or member through YouTube Join as well. Those funds go to help our correspondents and thank them for all their hard work as well too. So thank you everybody who stepped up. If you haven't considered doing that before, very similar to a Twitch subscription, but any videos that we post and schedule out, if you are a YouTube member, you actually get to watch ahead of time, which is pretty cool as well too. Some cool benefits, cool emotes, things like that as well that you can get. So your support really helps us continue to make great content, and we appreciate it as well. Don't forget to watch the FRC Top 25 on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It's week 4. We only have 2 left, so the season's ending pretty soon on there. Our last one is after week 6, but of course we have some other cool shows coming up. Our FRC Roundup on Mondays, but then we'll also have a championship preview show that will be the Saturday before champs as well too. So don't forget to vote. Polls open on Sunday by 5 p.m. Eastern at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. You can also check our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow. We're on Cheap Delphi for those announcements, and of course everywhere else on social media as well too. Quick around the horn. We'll start with Ari. Ari, where are you at, or what are you watching this week?
This weekend I will be trying to take the week off. This is like the 1 week that I have that I don't have an event where our team is going to, or that I'm volunteering at. So really just chilling before district champs happens. We'll be tuning a lot of our autos and trying to tune our far shots and just making sure that we are at that level and ready to compete at district champs.
How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, for me, it's all about autos, driver practice, and the kids are on spring break this week, so we've got a lot of time. I'll be working remotely for my day job from the school, so that they're going to get a lot of time to hopefully dial things in and be ready for week 6.
Christine, you taking a week off here?
Yeah, so I'm going to let my voice recuperate. I know that our team will be busy over at the practice field with some other local teams getting ready for our district champs. I'm definitely all ears for anybody in the chat that suggests any events that I should keep an eye on this weekend. It'll be from the couch division. But I'm definitely looking forward to a weekend of webcasts and kind of seeing where things pan out right before our district championships.
Well, you can catch me at the Las Vegas Regional this week. I'm heading out to Vegas tomorrow morning, so I'll be flying out there. It is the only event that I still MC, so if you want to catch me emceeing that event, I'd love to have you there on Friday and Saturday to watch the Las Vegas Regional, of course, on the Blue Lions or anywhere else you may find your webcasts as well, too. Good luck to all teams competing in Week 5. There's only 17 events, which is crazy compared to the 38 that happened this week as well. So hopefully everybody should be able to follow as well, and hopefully all the API issues are fixed. We can get match videos up right away and actually watch matches and not just have to watch them live. That would sure be nice now, wouldn't it? So with that said, thank you everybody for tuning in the FRC Top 25. That's going to wrap it up for us here at First Updates Now. Good luck to all teams, and we'll see you next week. Take care. This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineered their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply.